Well, hello there, brothers and sisters of WoT Blitz universe. You're watching WoT Blitz Addict again. Welcome back to the channel. It's Sunday again. I will tell you that it's a pre-recorded video because I'm doing it before I leave on holiday. So simply you can just watch and enjoy some replays, and I have plenty to show you. So today we're gonna watch 3 heavy tanks in action. The first one is super heavy VK100.01P, driven by my amigo Kinder0601 from HUKK clan. And well, we've seen this tank so many times, and it's one of my favorite tier 8 super heavies in general. Let's say it's very closely, tightly connected to the whole line with the mouse and the motion. It like perfectly fits the playstyle, the techniques you're using while driving it. Basically, it's an angling tank, same as the E100, like motion. It's very similar. So if you learn how to play this tank well, you will do extremely well in the mouse, in the motion, in the E100. But it's closer to the mouse and the motion than the E100. But yeah, the playstyle is still similar. So you need to side scrape. The difference is between those tanks. Let's say you can't angle the turret while you're angling the hull. Like the turret is designed to face the enemy frontally, while the turret on the E100 and some sort of some kind of mouse and motion still needs to be angled. Motion is closer to the VK100, like the cheeks are slightly angled, so when you're aiming frontally it's hard to pen it. But the E100, you need to angle your tank with your turret, and same with the mouse. It's the best way to do is just to angle your turret with your hull at the same angle or close to the same angle, so you don't simply angle your you don't face your turret straight directly looking at the enemy. But other than that, it's basically the same tank. So you don't have great mobility, you don't have great gun, but the VK100 actually has a good gun for its tier, because it's like a E75 gun with 450 alpha, which is great. And yeah, it's not spectacularly accurate, but it's good. It's really good. It's a German gun. It still can be effective. As you can see, it's not that like a Russian gun. I mean, like Russian 122 is worse, has worse dispersion than this one. The reload time isn't really bad. Yeah, and in general, all you have is your angles and massive alpha for a tier 8 and great armor. So it's a typical frontline tank. You should be playing it frontline. My amigo decided to push this heavy side, and he just faced one heavy tank, as you saw, like the E75. And that's the main disadvantage of this tank. Like, the mobility doesn't give you chance to relocate around the map when you need to, because it's really not designed to do that. It's not a medium tank. It's not fast as let's say M103. M103 is pretty agile tank for a heavy, but it's not super heavy. It's not that well armored. So you just trade your mobility for your armor, but the armor profile is just simply spectacular for a tier 8. And before the nerf, when the hatch was stronger than it is right now, the only weak spot you had was your basically your lower plate between the tracks. It's a very tiny spot, so it was really a monster of a tank. But even though now it's still a great tank, it's still a great tank, don't get me wrong. And I mastered it like at least 4 or 5 times. I showed, I think, 1 or 2 of my masteries one in the Mastery Series and some in the tank chats, I think. So I simply used them because they were pretty nice games with more or less 5k damage. So yeah, it's a great tank, and you will see in this game my amigo is sitting on 3.6k damage right now, and now it's over 4k, and it's not over yet. So yeah, this tank can really do massive damage, close to, let's say, tier 9s, tier 10s, than tier 8s. Of course, you can do that massive damage on tier 8, even on tier 7, if you're lucky enough to get most of the hit points of the enemy tanks, but still this alpha damage makes this tank pretty unique. And yeah, and it's more of a TD gun than a heavy gun. But let's check the results. As you can see, 3 kills, over 5k damage, ace tanker, high caliber. Great job, great game, with 1.4k base XP. And the second game is my clanmate and amigo Mikawogi from UN410, and he's driving a mouse, and this basically we're gonna stick to the super heavies. After VK we have a motion, then we have a mouse on tier 10, and this tank is like a top of the list super heavy in the game. Like, it was a monster in real life, and it is a monster in this game. So basically the playstyle is quite similar, but you are heavier, you have more or less same mobility, as you can see, even bit better mobility than the VK, and you have massive armor. You have a nice low alpha gun. Is basically the same gun, closer to VK100 than the E100. E100 has bigger alpha, but it trades its armor to this alpha damage. And mouse is basically designed to stand the damage. You need to be frontlining and soak this damage on your armor. So you need to be just a steel wall for your team, so you take the damage, bounce the shells for your team, so your team can't push. It's a breakthrough tank, basically a breakthrough tank. You can of course just hold the line on the side. Even if you get rushed, it's not gonna be as easy for your opponents to deal with you as you would expect it to be. And it still can hit hard. As you can see, the full HE roll over 700 still can bite a lot. And yeah, but basically this tank is not about the damage. This tank is all about the angling, about just simply soaking up the shots on the armor. So yeah, my amigo is doing it perfectly well. He's in the front line, he's trying to do his job, and he's doing his job extremely well. So yeah, if you're expecting a hitting heavy, you should not go for the mouse. If you expect a very bouncy heavy with a lot of advantages over other tanks in the game, then yeah, that's the best thing you can find in the game. So it's basically the heaviest of them all, and the well armored, the best armor profile of them all. And yeah, what can I say? Like it's a great tank, and if you want to ram, you can ram every single tank in the game, and he will receive a massive damage, and you will receive close to none. So yeah, it's a good tank. It's a really fun tank to play. But well, it's one of a kind. So if you enjoying tanks like the VK, you will enjoy the mouse also. If you want a heavy hitter, go for the E100, but it's harder to play than the mouse. It's not that well armored. It has bigger weak spots, but the mouse can stand against the E100. Like you can see, the Jagdpanzer E100. It makes no really heavy losses, let's say, on the mouse. It can bounce all day if you angle it correctly, and my amigo does it perfectly well. And let's check the results. So he ends with 3 kills, over 5k damage, ace tanker, high caliber, no steel wall, where there was not many shots going his way. And the last game, we will stick still to the German tech tree, sorry, not German tech tree, to the German line. And well, Löwe was designed to be a super heavy, but its construction was abandoned due to the mouse line. And yeah, in game it should be a super heavy. It's a really heavy tank. It's almost as heavy as the VK100. It weighs over 90 tons. And this tank still can be effective. It's one of the originals of the World of Tanks Blitz. It was the best, the first and the best earning heavy in the game. And it's one of the best earning tanks in the game overall. I mean, like with a super Pershing and some tanks on lower tiers with crazy credit coefficient. Basically, the Löwe can give you a lot of credits. Like for a good game, you will receive about 100,000 credits for one single game. So I think that's not something that to be shy of. And my amigo, after this rough start, my amigo will do a great job here. And yeah, I haven't told you, it's a super 300 hero from PR1 clan, driving a Löwe, of course. And I'm not big fan of pushing this side, but sometimes you simply have to, and sometimes you can do it other way. But let's talk about the Löwe itself. Of course, the Löwe can side scrape a bit, but you have to be careful to not over side scrape, not over angle your tank, because the even though the sides are 80 millimeters thick, they're not meant to be just overexposed. So it's better to angle the front sometimes, that my amigo did previously. But as you can see, still you can side scrape and be effective. And the main advantage of the Löwe is a great turret. The turret is really hard to penetrate. It's the exact same turret as the VK72 has. So that and it still stands on the tier 10. So that means that this is not a bad turret at all. It has some weak spots, of course, but if you wiggle and if you just move along slightly back and forth, it's really hard for your enemies to penetrate your turret. The frontal armor isn't spectacular, but after the buff, it's pretty well. I won't say it's bad. Now you can bounce some shells. Only the let's say the bottom part between the upper and lower frontal plate is a weak spot. But other than that, it's not that easy to penetrate it frontally. The copula, as you can see, is really tiny, so it's hard to hit. Of course you can hit it, but it's not like so obvious like on some tanks, like the, let's say, Tiger P with just enormous tumor like an 88 and so on. But yeah, as you can see, my amigo is doing a great job here. Some ram damage, some decent playstyle for the Löwe, and the Löwe is not easy to master, and he done it, so it's great. And a great job. So 4 kills, 4.5k damage, ace tanker, top gun, high caliber, all the goodies. And that's basically all for this episode, boys and girls. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. If you like my content, please consider subscribing to my channel. If you want to join my Discord, the link is in the description below. Take care, bye bye, and catch you all on the battlefield.